Welcome to the full moon meditation here on this Pisces full moon. And I'm Donna Mitchell-Moniak, and we're with Spirit Fire, and it's wonderful to be with you meditating for the well-being of the world. The image before us is not just stylized and chosen for that reason. Pisces is an interesting sign in that it's the final sign in the zodiac. And because of that, it's a sign of the completion of the zodiac. So in addition to completing the water element, because it's the final water sign, and completing the mutable cross, because it's the final mutable sign, it additionally completes all the qualities that have been enunciated by the rest of the 11 signs of the zodiac. And so, in many ways, Pisces is a universal sign. And so I thought that the image of the human being gazing through their own universal awareness into the universe of which we are a part was appropriate. It also is appropriate because of the lineup of planets for this particular full moon. Now, interesting alignments happen whenever they do. And when they happen near an eclipse or near a solstice or near a full moon or something like that, there might be a little more hype given to them. But we should understand that particular alignments, they happen when they happen. And it just so happens that this particular alignment is happening at the time of a full moon. What is interesting, you see over here in the 6th house, you see these 4 planets plus the important asteroid of Chiron all in Pisces. And what you want to notice, and we'll go to this one so that you can see it more, is how the Sun and Neptune are quite together, so that's called a conjunction. And then you see Venus and Mercury also together. They're a little bit apart from the Sun and Neptune, but they all are in Pisces, and they are not far enough apart to be really distinct from one another. It's quite a collection. And so as you see written here, it is an auspicious chart. And, of course, all around the world there are babies born today. And some of them will be born into, abject poverty, and others might be born in a war zone, and some might be born into a developed country and into an educated system and all that kind of thing. Whoever this child is, if this child is supported in the wondrous, actually, potential that this chart conveys, then that child, when that child grows, and as that child grows, who knows at what age this child might be able to bring forward his or her intuition, bring clarity into words and form. One can imagine if this child is educated, how they will be in school, be quite stunning. And be able to understand how others can be organized and worked with and be a great collaborator and leader at the same time, bringing right vision and right thought into our world. And of course, we are at such a juncture within humanity and our relationship to one another, our relationship to systems of thought, and the old models that are hierarchical and kind of top-down based and unilateral, as in, I'm more important than you and my stuff is more important than anybody else's. These kinds of models are absolutely fading away. They're doing so with a kick and a scream, but they are fading away. And when and I'm sure plenty of other people who study astrology, see a chart such as this, it gladdens the heart, because this person, this baby born today, would have to be really contained to not bring forward the stunning excellence of the human spirit and human capacity that this child will have the capacity to do. So, as we meditate tonight, we will meditate supporting empathy overall, because that's a primary Pisces quality and attribute, as well as compassion. But we'll meditate also in support of all the babies born today in this full moon cycle. I also want to point out that because of the indications here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, it's not that big, but we have Jupiter in Scorpio, we have all this Pisces stuff over here in the 6th house, Mars in Sagittarius. It likes being in Sagittarius. It's that's pretty auspicious too. Saturn in Capricorn, auspicious again. And the moon in Virgo, auspicious again. This chart actually has multiple esoteric and hierarchical rulers at play. And so, don't take too much note of the ascendant. And this chart is cast for where I live. So, even the focus of the 6th house, a house of service and world service, would be shifting depending on where that child might be born. However, if you have strong water in your chart, so that means if you're a Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces, Sun or Moon, or if you have Jupiter in a water sign as well, then it's a good cycle for you energetically. It might be a bit devitalizing because of the amount of empathic energies that are floating around, and one might not recognize that one is processing those energies that are not one's own, and that you are supporting and somehow being in an empathic rapport with maybe even more than humanity. So just be aware that it could be a time of insight for you, a time of important dreams, a good time to assess a change, to evaluate something in yourself. All kinds of things like that would be very empowering for a person with strong water in the chart. And because of these two factors down here, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, if you have strong earth in your chart, and the moon in Virgo, if you have strong earth in your chart, then for you too, it would be a good time to do some of that self-reflection, to look at what your projects are, what are you trying to get in motion, has there been a snag? Well, now's a good time to evaluate the snag. And furthermore, because of, again, all the water is empathy, water is relationship, water is intuition, water is the clarity of compassion. So sometimes, strong earth, it doesn't always play well with others because it wants to do it on its own way. There could be control issues there. So just realize, no, there is no island unto itself. We are not that, and we can't get anything done by ourselves. It's very simple. Even to just eat a meal, well, other people had to produce all the food. So keep that in mind as you're doing your reflections and your insight. So with a smile for compassion, a smile for these babies who are coming into incarnation. Holy moly, the world needs them, and the world needs to support them. And we've had some pretty amazing astrology since the year 2000, when 7 planets lined up in May of 2000, and there were every inner planet from the sun through Saturn, all in Taurus. Amazing. So the millennium started with that in the sign of enlightenment. And we've had these multiple auspicious astrological factors since the year 2000. And I think that it is a portent of all the babies who are coming in over these last 20 years and will continue to, who, as they come into their adulthood, they are the ones we've been waiting for, and yet it will require us to support them in their initiatives, in their vision, in their capacity, and to recognize them for who they are and not try to fit them into old, kind of like old wine bottles, right? So again, we smile. Take a long, slow, deep breath. Settle together. Breathing in and breathing out. With the breath, we light our heart. And as you do, feel the water of compassion that flows through the heart in the form of blood. But it is the waters of compassion that actually is what's flowing. And just as our blood connects every part of our body through all the veins and arteries, and its very flow, we connect heart to heart with a golden band of light. With a breath, we light the ajna center. You can even call to mind the image that was at the beginning of the evening. A bright light at the brow that perceives into and through anything. Pisces is a sign of intuition, of deep intuitive knowing, and empathy, which is another form of deep knowing. And then we connect ajna to ajna, the brow center, with a golden band of light. With the breath, We alight the crown center. In its highest expression, Pisces is the crowning glory of the zodiac. All the capacities set forth in each sign of the zodiac finds its completion within Pisces. And furthermore, within Pisces, the universality of compassion itself is the pristine quality that Pisces seeks to give and bring into all the worlds. So we awaken our crown with her breath. And then connect crown to crown with the golden band of light. And thus are we one heart, one mind, one will to intention. Visualize in your mind's eye droplets of light coming into the world, but know that those droplets of light are great, esteemed, precious beings coming into incarnation. And imagine the combination of compassion and fearlessness to do so. And then generate a deep empathy and compassion for all beings, so that we share that compassion with this incarnating new being. And let us hold in our hearts that the empathy that we are generating will support the parents of these new children so that they recognize, not from the point of view of specialness, but recognize the light, the joy, the smile, the brightness of the eyes, the natural intelligence and natural acceptance of these brand new babies. Then imagine with your heart, because the mind cannot, imagine this being holding both tremendous compassion at once and tremendous wisdom. Imagine also that this child, and there are multiple of them that are born today, that these children hold the distinction of their awareness forefront, but with no pride, no sense of self-aggrandizement, but instead that awareness makes them aware of the plight of the world and of the potential that is in every single being that they meet, first and foremost, their own parents. So perceive, if you can, holding what almost are dichotomies of being quite established in their uniqueness, almost profoundly so, and yet at the same time aware in such an inclusive way as to have their awareness not in any way generate singularity or pride or anything like that, but to have it always hold them, their awareness and its inclusivity, hold them in the compassion of the heart. Then find that same quality within yourself of the universality of awareness and its complete inclusivity, and meditate. And can you feel the fearlessness, the absolute invincible courage of this level of compassion? And finally, we wish well to all the children who have come into incarnation over the last almost 20 years, since 2000. Let us wish them that they can accomplish their life purpose, that their incarnation will be supported in all the ways needed for their incarnation to fulfill its purpose. And that all these children, many of whom are approaching, they're in their teens right now. And we see, for instance, in Florida with the teenagers affected by the shooting, how they have rallied in their comportment and their demeanor and their fearlessness. So we see that this new millennium has been seeded with incarnating beings who show us, our elders, all of us are elder to them, that show us more of the excellence of being a human being. And so we wish them well and wish them all the support that they need. And we complete with 3 ohms. Thank you, everyone. Keep these children in mind for the next couple of days, for the rest of the full moon cycle. And consider for yourself what wants to come forward for the rest of your life. Because I think that, again, these kinds of auspicious astrological factors, they are here for us all, not just those who are born under them. Love you all. Help the world by creating your day.